Well, it's Sunday, the 11th of December. Can you believe it? The year is nearly done. It's halfway through the last month of the year, and we race at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. It is 8 races carded on this Gallop TV Preview Show, with the main event being race number 7, which is the Grade 2 Cape Merchants. And I'll be joined by this preview. He's our guy when it comes to Cape Town racing, and it's none other than Graham Hawkins. Graham, how are you doing?
All good, thank you, Dees. I hope you enjoyed your golfing trip away, and it's nice to have you back.
Thanks a lot, Graham. Race number 1 will start off the bipod. It's over 1,000 meters. It's a maiden plate for fillies and mares. And at the time of recording, 2 horses are scratched. You can take out numbers 6 and 8. So it will be a field that will go to post of 9 runners. Graham, I jotted down the betting for the show, and they have the visitor, Ashley Fortune's runner, number 5, War Express, at 12-10. 4-1, number 3, Go Like Flow. 7-2, number 7, Egret. And then it is 8-1 and Better the Balance. I just want to touch on this favorite before we get to your selections. 12-10, a bit sharp in the betting market?
I would have thought so. He hasn't run for a couple of months. Also, the form of his debut effort when a close second to a time to Flower at the Vaal has not been franked. I'm not quite sure how strong that form is. Obviously, the pedigree jumps out at you. The promising debut effort jumps out at you. But the Highveld boys, they're going into a heat. They're going into the heat of the kitchen when they go down to the Western Cape. So it might not be that much of a formality, although one has to say there's not a hell of a lot of good form to go around in the opening event.
Yeah, she just looks like a filly that is going to progress, but I had a look at that form line. 18 runners in total and just 1 subsequent winner. What are your numbers in the first leg of the bipod then, Graham?
I'm spreading my risk. I'm hedging my bets. I'm going with 4 runners in the opening leg of the bipod. I'm going with number 2, Ponte Vecchio. Richard Faree is a notable jockey booking, so I'm including Pitt Boyd as runner. Number 3, Go Like Flow. Andre Nell's stable has turned the corner. Promising debut, should improve. Obviously including Ashley Fortune's runner, number 5, War Empress, and also number 7, Egret. So I'm taking no chances in the opening leg of the bipod.
Yeah, I think Graham's spot on there. 2, 3, 5, and 7. They look to be the principal runners, and he could certainly double up here. Race number 1. Race number 2 will start off the place accumulator, and this is over 1,400 meters. It's a maiden plate, and I must admit, Graham, not that the horse is scratched or anything, but I really like the look of number 10, Rainbow Colors, who's now taking no part. And if you haven't got the update, well, it just happened early this morning. Number 12 will take no part as well. So 10 and 12 are out here in race number 2 at the time of recording, as we always mention on the show. So 12 runners go to post. Graham, a highly competitive race. The horse just possibly will be an ideal roving banker and bets like trifectas and quartets is number 4, Charlie Croker, but he's been a frustrating and costly horse to follow.
I think you're spot on as far as a roving banker is concerned, and even perhaps a place accumulator banker. Charlie Croker could fit that bill, but my top choice is number 1, Master Josh. He's cracked the inside gate. He was far from disgraced in the Ready to Run Sales Cup, when finishing only a couple of lengths off Seeking the One and Royal Aussie. Any of those would absolutely hack home in a race like this. So I think Master Josh sets the standard, but obviously Charlie Croker, plenty of respect. He is going to get it right one of these days. And then possibly number 11, Stratospheric. Initially, I had 3 runners in my bipod. 1, Master Josh, 4, Charlie Croker, and like you, number 10, Rainbow Colors. Rainbow Colors is scratched, so I'm going to add in number 11, Stratospheric, in its place. But my fancy lies with number 1, Master Josh.
Race number 2, 1,400 meters. Well, we do get betting updates. As you know, Hollywoodbets are the proud sponsors of our fixed odds betting market on Gallop TV, and they've given us the updates here. The one horse that's been back anti-post in this race is number 1, Master Josh. That's Graham Hawkins' selections, from 9-2 into 3-1, giving you a bit more confidence, Graham, that there's market support quite early for this individual.
Yes, it does. In fact, I was hoping to crack a little bit of a price. I looked at a number of the selections in various publications, and Master Josh didn't feature prominently. So I thought, we might actually get a little bit of a price here. But now it's his favourite. So the boys got in early.
Just repeat those numbers for the bipod, Graham.
Numbers 1, 4, and 11.
1, 4, and 11 for Graham here. If you're looking for a nice roughie to include the horse that I singled out in our butt for the draws, number 13, Run For Me. We move along. It is the big one now, race number 3. Get your bets on by 13.40. It's over 1,400 meters. And a race where I'm almost certain that Graham would agree that when you have a look at the field, while there's lots of form to go around, I think one can narrow down their selections here, Graham. I'm going to give you my play before we hear from you on the 3 numbers that I like, 1, 4, and 9 in numerical order.
Yeah, those are the principles. Yeah, it's hard to understand why Champion Warrior was so easily beaten last time. He was a spent force quite a long way out, which is a bit of a concern because he certainly caught the eye on his first 2 starts. So it's hard to know what to make of Champion Warrior. You've mentioned number 9, Narina Trogon, obviously beautifully bred out of Beach Beauty by Silvano. Plenty of scope for improvement. And the other horse you mentioned is one that interests me, number 4, Hammy's Hero. He's out of a Grade 1 winning mare, Fly By Night. She was a sprinting mare. He's won twice over sprint distances. They're obviously testing as to whether he'll go a little bit further. And because ultimately he is a candidate for the Gold Rush, which will be run over 1,600 meters early in the new year. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Hammy's Hero goes. So I've included all 3 of those in my bipod, but I've thrown in Dennis Dreyer's runner. Spring High is a very, very good-looking horse. He's won 5 times, so he's been there, done that, got the T-shirt. And, he loves this trip. He could just be the surprise package in the race. I know he's been around a while and he's coming up against emerging stars, but he's as steady as a rock. So I've included all of numbers 1, 4, 7, 9. And, I think all of those will have their supporters.
I think Graham could be on the mark here. We're not going to discount our local from KZN Spring High at 12-1. If you get that arriving in the first leg of the Pick 6, wow, that'll be the result that you want here. Race number 3. So you heard it from Graham. He's going 1, 4, 7, and 9 as his top 4 selections. And I personally think those 4 numbers could be good enough for the Pick 6 as well. We move along to race number 4 over 1,400 meters. It's a high division handicap. It's an A division class, this, a 105, and it's over the distance of 1,400 meters. Graham, we all make our play on whatever race card, whichever day of the week, and I've made my play on this card with number 2, Silvano's Dasher. Brett Crawford's runner with Keegan DeMella up. Of course, Keegan riding for Kaya Stables here. 53.5 on his back. There's lots of tried and tested form around him. There's quality horses in the race. One that is the visitor from the stable of Peter Muscat, Quasi for sure. Looks like an exciting horse, but I've made my play here, Graham. It's in or out for me. I'm all in here, number 2, Silvano's Dasher.
And you probably spot on the button. Silvano's Dasher is a cracking grey gelding by Silvano. He's got all the form in the world. Interestingly, all 3 of his victories have come at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. He's never won outside of Durbanville, but I don't really think that's an issue. I think what concerns me about Silvano's Dasher is he seems to lack finishing pace. Keegan DeMello gets him into a good position all the time. And yes, his form is good, but he could be vulnerable inside the final 200 meters. You can't fault the form of number 6, Silver Falcon, Richard Faree and Justin Snaith. That run behind Winchester Mansion over this distance was a very good effort last time. I am in the camp of Silvano's Dasher as my first choice. I'm just not as confident as you are, but I hope you're right, because Silvano's Dasher is a really nice type. Plenty of respect I have for number 6, Silver Falcon. And then you mentioned number 8, Quasi for sure. He's been off the track for more than a year. He won 3 of his only 4 starts to date. He ran 3rd in the Model Man Mile behind Hasta Manana. I know they hold him in very high regard. It's hard to come back in this kind of quality field off a year, injury-enforced layoff for more than a year and win. But he's also only got 53 kilograms, and Peter Muscat believes that he's done enough work to do himself justice. So that's ominous, and Peter Muscat's horses are running well in the Western Cape, as are Gareth Van Sales and Gavin Van Sales. They're doing us proud. So I'm not going to leave out number 8, Quasi for sure. But I'm sure you're not too far off the mark with number 2, Sylvanas Dasher.
Okay, if you're looking for cover there in race number 4, Graham suggesting number 6, Silver Fankel, and number 8, Quasi for sure. Race number 5, this is where Jackpot 2 will begin. It's over 1,800 meters. It's a merit-rated 80 handicap. And this race, Graham, I need your help desperately because I've given a jackpot, you've given a bipot at the end of the show. My jackpot numbers here are 2, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and I've included the 5 runners because I'm playing with my rule. If it's more than half the field, then it's going to be a field. So I've decided I'm going to try and narrow it down. My 5 numbers, 2, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah, it worries me a little bit that I've got 4 numbers in the bipod and 2 of them you don't have your selection. They being number 1, which I've included. And then my little lurcher in the box is number 10, Dowser, from the Glen Cotson stable, does have the worst of the two to overcome. I'm ignoring his last run. I think there was always a bit of talk about Dowser, and I'm expecting a much better effort. But like you, I don't trust this race. Professor Snape is the early favourite for Vaughan Marshall and Cornet Offer. I don't trust this race. I think any one of them can win. It's wide open. I would suggest you, Dees, that you change your mind again and go the field.
Okay, I think we'll have to take Graham's suggestion there. It was Graham speaking about Professor Snap, the horse that won the maiden last time out. Again, thanks to Hollywood Bets, this is one of the anti-post movers. 33 to 10 into 5 to 2. Early betting support for this grey son of William Longsword, number 7. So you heard it, as wide as possible. Race number 5, taking no chances there. In the 6th race, it's over 1,800 meters. It's a merit-rated 80 handicap. And a field of 10 that go to post here. I really like the look of this field. I think this is a race, barring the main event, which is the Cape Merchants, that I was looking forward to because this horse, Street Art, Graham, he's starting to capture one's imagination the way he's been racing, especially his introduction to Cape racing.
Absolutely, and the Peter Muscat runners have all improved after their first start, and this was an ominously good second in his on the 16th of November. So like you've gone all in with Sylvanas Dasher in race 4, I'm kind of going all in with Street Art in race number 6, certainly as far as the bipod is concerned. Clearly the 2 Justin Snaith runners, number 7, To the Moon and Back, and number 9, Without Question, hold very good chances. But I think that Street Art will continue to improve. Peter Muscat knows what it takes to win a race in the Western Cape, so he's taken horses down there which he believes will be competitive. And I think off the back of that very smart debut at Kenilworth on the 16th of November, we can expect further improvement. That's from a bipod perspective. Obviously, from a pick 6 perspective, you've got to grant the Snaith coupling utmost respect. I've narrowed it down to those 3. Obviously, Global Ally and Shavut must have some claims, but I think they have place chances rather than winning chances. So for me, the short list is definitely 7 To the Moon and Back, 9 Without Question, and 10 Street Art. But from a bipod perspective, as you'll see from my perm later on, I'm really happy to bank at number 10, Street Art.
Yeah, I think Graham could be spot on here with Street Art. That was an eye-catching introduction to Cape racing. Well, some may argue there wasn't much that separated himself and Without Question was slightly better off at the weights as well. But I agree, if you're looking for cover, the Snake runners 7 and 9, and then I'm including number 3, Global Alley as one. Penultimate race on the card. We there, Graham. It is the main event on a Sunday at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. The Cape Merchants are Group 2 over 1,200 meters. And over the years, good horses have won this race, and it's attracted a big field, a sizable field of 20 runners that go to post. The one runner in this race, there's 2 of them, Graham. Hollywoodbets providing this anti-post betting moves. Number 6, Give Me a Prince, opened up 6 to 1. That has shortened into 9 to 2. And number 20, Sergey, a fluent winner last time out. What a win from this horse last time out. I was really impressed. From 10 to 1, that's been shortened into 7 to 1. But it's a wide open betting race, Graham. I don't think the fixed odds betting market can make their mind up, but we'll see how punters go closer to race time. It's 9 to 2 the field here, Graham.
Well, I can't believe they priced Sergey up at 10 to 1. I would have liked to have had a little bit of that as well. Not my first choice, but very definitely one of my 5 on my short list. My top choice would be We're Jamming. I think of 52 kilograms. He's unbeaten 3 from 3 over the course and distance. He's clearly a sprinter. He's a young horse. He hasn't got too many miles on those legs. He's a 3-year-old with plenty of scope for improvement. He's already won 3 feature races in his 8 career starts. Grant Finico teams up with Justin Snaith, and that's obviously because Richard Fourie can't make the weight. So even if Richard wanted to ride We're Jamming, he can't make the weight. So that, for me, sets the standard. I think We're Jamming is the one to beat, but healthy respect for Sergey, because as you mentioned, he was such a good winner of his last start. But not too far behind them must come the likes of Gimme a Prince, who, as you say, has found anti-post market sport. Resonate, in good form. And then the value of the race. Number 19, Bereave, from the Adam Marcus yard. Good fourth behind Sergey, last time in the Bantry Bay Stakes. Last season, he won the Southeaster Sprint, and he was placed in the Cape Merchants. He ran second, and behind him on that occasion was Resonate. I think Bereave has his peak run here, his third run after a long rest, and he's drawn alongside Sergey. Of course, the draw is going to be interesting. 20 horses. It's going to be interesting to see where the going is, if there's any kind of track bias. But I think if you're drawn out towards the stand side, you've got every chance. So 19 Bereave and 20 Sergey, I believe, will be involved. But right down the middle, in gate 8, number 8, We're Jamming. That gets my vote. But healthy respect for the money that's coming for Gimme a Prince. My short list of 5, Gimme a Prince, Resonate, We're Jamming, Bereave, and Sergey.
Well, as Graham mentioned, it is a race that, when you listen to Graham there with the horses that he's mentioning and the size of the field, no doubt, this is a quartet race, guys. If you want to catch a quartet on the day, you want to catch it in race number 7, regardless of the result. When they're betting 9-2 the field, you're going to get a proper dividend here. I've gone 8 horses, and I'll show my hand when we go to that jackpot that I've given, because the jackpot 1 actually closes here in race number 7. It's the lucky last. If you're running in the exotics, hopefully you're running in the big one, the pick 6, 1,200 meters, fillies and mares, 92 handicap. Wow, Graham, I've gone with 4 horses here, but the runner that I really like, Graham, and this horse, Pacific Green, Justin Snaith's runner, I must compliment the stable, because she's now a 3-time winner. And whilst a form may be in and out, the way she won last time out, the position that she was in at the 400-meter mark, if you go and have a look at that replay, she looked like she was in a hopeless position, and she absolutely flew. On a day, she's known to have a good finish. I think she could be the right horse in the race. I think with 54.5 on her back, she is going to achieve much better than this 89 that they've given her at this stage of her career. She's my roving banker in the race. But in the pick 6, Graham, I will suggest numbers 1, 6, 10, and 11.
We're absolutely on the same page in this race. My top choice, like you, number 6, Pacific Green. I was impressed with her last effort, and she steps up to the 1,200 meters. That should be no problem. But equally, I have a lot of respect for a stable companion, number 11, Distinction. If you recall, she actually won her last run, beating Whoa, 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 and then was demoted in the boardroom from first down to second after a bit of a bumping match with Whoa, Whoa, Whoa over the last 200 meters. So I've got healthy respect for Distinction. And then obviously, if you like Pacific Green, then you've got to like Dennis Dry's number 1, Live My Life. There wasn't too much to choose between them last time, and Live My Life is now 2.5 kilograms better off with Pacific Green, so that brings them very close together. And Dennis is going to start striking, and Live My Life has always been a very decent filly, never runs a bad race. She's obviously got her issues. She's a 4-year-old having only her 8th start, so he picks his spots with Live My Life, and he might have picked the right one here. And then you've mentioned number 10, Vivacious Spirit, comes into town for JJ Van Vuren with very, very good Highveld form, having won once and placed second twice from 3 starts. But I'd like to sit on the fence with number 10, Vivacious Spirit. I'm including her to be safe, but I think she might struggle to match strides with the principals here.
Graham, before we go to your suggested bet, number 1 is at 7-2. Number 6 is at 7-2. Number 10's at 4-1 and 11's at 7-2. It's quite cramped at the top of the betting boards. If I had to say, Graham Hawkins, which horse will go off as the top one come race time? Which horse would it be?
I believe it will be Pacific Green. I think that Richard Fourie, the power of Richard Fourie and Justin Snaith, that combination in this kind of race with that kind of form, I think Pacific Green will go off as favourite, but not a very short price favourite.
Okay, Graham, let's go to your suggested bet, and I'm told that you've given a bipod, so that's going to come up on screen, and it is up on screen, Graham. You just want to go through it?
Yeah, well, we've been through it, but in the first leg, numbers 2, 3, 5, and 7, I've added number 2, Ponte Vecchio, just in case there's a little bit of a boil over. 3, Go Like Flow, 5, War Empress, the short-priced favourite, number 7, Egret. In the second leg, I've changed. On screen, you'll see 1, 4, and 10, but 10 Rainbow Colours has now been scratched after we posted our selections. So I'm changing that to 1, 4, and 11. Master Josh, number 1, Charlie Croker, number 4, and Stratospheric, number 11. The third leg, numbers 1, 4, 7, and 9, taking no chances there, including number 7, Spring High, as a bit of a roughie for the Dennis Dreyer yard. He's such a good-looking horse. Again, in case there's a little bit of a surprise, then we're in the play. The next leg, 2, 6, and 8. I know you're very strong on 2, Sylvanas Dasher. I'm including 6, Silver Falcon, and 8, Quasi for Sure, who comes back after a rest of more than a year. The penultimate leg, I'm going 1, 7, 8, and 10. We've agreed that this is a field race as far as the pick 6 and jackpot is concerned. My lurker in the pack is number 10, Dowser, but 1, 7, and 8, and 10. Those are my 4 numbers. And then in the bipot, happy to bank at number 10, Street Art, in the final leg, recognizing that there's a serious threat from the Justin Snaith pair of number 7, To the Moon and Back at 9, without question. But I'm going to go with the number 10, Street Art, as a banker.
And then I've given a jackpot, which is jackpot 1. That will begin in race number 4 at 14:15, a quarter past 2. Let's get straight into my play, and I'm beginning with a banker there, number 2, Sylvanos Dasher. In the next leg, I'm going wide, 2, 6, 7, 8, and 9. The penultimate race on the card, if you want to take a chance and go with Graham's selection there, he makes a very strong case for number 10, Street Art, and I agree as well. But I've just gone for cover, 3, 7, 9, and 10. But if you're going to bank at the 10, then you're going to reduce the cost of the perm. And then the last leg, wow, what a race. Graham's selection there is We're Jamming, who could be a nice roving banker in those quartets. I mentioned when we previewed that, I got 8 numbers there in the jackpot, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 19 and 20. Wow, it looks like a tough race, that doesn't it? Okay, Graham, thanks for being on the show, Graham. You like Street Art, I like Sylvanos Dasher. Hopefully those two are right.
Well, I think you've persuaded me. Obviously, I've given you my bipod. I think I'm going to play 2 bipods. One where I'm going to bank as Sylvanas Dasher and cover Street Art, and the other as displayed on the screen where I bank number 10, Street Art.
Thanks a lot, Graham. An absolute pleasure having you on the show. And on behalf of the entire team at Gallop TV, you have a blast. Find all the winners, make a huge profit, and enjoy your racing at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. Thanks, Graham.